Hi everyone, I'm LinearC, or you can call me just Linear. Today I'll be playing Clock Tower 3. Clock Tower 3 was released in 2003 in North America on the PS2 and is produced by Capcom. This is the only one in the series produced by Capcom, I believe, in Sunsoft. So if you've never played any of the other Clock Towers, or if you have but never played this one, then no worries, as this is a standalone game. It requires no specific knowledge of the other installments. I first played this game many years ago when it came out, and it scared me to bits. And I haven't played it since until recently. I decided to give it a try again. I actually started learning to try to speedrun this game back in last October, if you could believe it, to make it less scary by going as fast as I can. It had some really interesting elements to it. We have magical girl transformations, interesting boss fights, lots of running, and lots of RNG that can make the run interesting, to say the least. We're going to be playing normal 80% and skipping basically all the cutscenes. So that is why I have my amazing couch here to help me to explain the story, who I would love to introduce to y'all, so we can go ahead and get started. So if y'all would like to introduce yourselves, that'd be awesome.
Hi, I'm PT and I just ran from prizes to be here. Hello. I'm fired from prizes indefinitely, and I've been reduced down to just commentary. So I'm here commentating Clock Tower 3, which I've learned a lot about recently with LinearC's run. Metroid?
Hi, I'm Metroid Crime. Super excited to be here. I've seen Linear learn and just master this game. It has been amazing to watch, and I'm so excited to see Linear run it today.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. So, I'm going to count down from 3. The game starts when I press new. So, 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Good luck.
I believe in you. So I kind of want to kick off by saying that I think the most interesting thing that I found about this game when you showed it to me, Linear, was that this is the only clock tower that was done by Capcom, because other clock towers are done by a different company, and Capcom picked this one up because that company went bye-bye.
Yep, you are correct.
So right now, we're just kind of starting off the game. I forget the main character's name, but that's perfectly fine. We don't actually care about it too much. We don't care about her too much. We're here for the actual game itself. There's going to be a lot of tutorials that you're going to see. Linear's going to have to skip through. They're your standard issue early horror game. Just, hey, this is how this works. This is how that works. So what you can see in the upper left there is your panic meter. And when that fills up, you'll actually get the term panic underneath there, which inhibits your ability to run in straight lines or make sure that your character can stay on the actual running path. And there's even times where on occasion, she'll just stop running outright because she's having, for all intents and purposes, what's going to be a panic attack, and she'll just have to stand there and recompose herself. The only way you can get out of that is if you get the panic meter down to a certain amount, and then she can go back to running like normal, like you can see here, and then she can go back to doing all the tasks that she needs to do. That said, the running animation, we will see it a couple of times, and I think it's the funniest thing in this entire game.
So good. It's so good.
So I'll just throw out that her name is Alyssa. She's 14.
Thank you. I forgot because I remembered all the cutscenes and how dreadful they are, because I planned on talking about those as we got through the run.
So to give a little bit of history about stuff that's happened in cutscenes that we've skipped, basically Alyssa was sent to boarding school for 6 years, and then she got a letter to say to go into hiding for her 15th birthday. But instead of going into hiding, she went home where she was not supposed to go to, directly into her doom. So that's how we're starting this.
Yeah, the letter explicitly said, "Do not go home," and then she was like, "I should go home." It's like the most horror trope thing under the sun, but that's literally what we're dealing with in a lot of this earlier part of the game. And so she's going back home. She's trying to figure out what's happening, what's going on. There's not really a lot of exciting things going on here yet. I don't think we see any friends that we need to explain unless one's about to pop up.
We just have our first. Yeah.
Is it our first spirit?
Yes. Let's wait for them to come up on screen. They took a while there.
So they were thinking about it a lot. So the way that the spirits work in the game, you can see Linear just picked up this engagement ring, and the spirits will despawn the second that you reunite them with the thing that they're missing. This is the only time we're going to do this. All the other spirits just going to have to die angry. Well, I guess they're dead already. They just have to be spiritually angry for the rest of eternity because we're not getting the rest of their stuff. But because it's the tutorial one, you have to do it. So at this point, we're going to fill up our water. And as you can see here, it's shaped like a lion. This is where you can save and refill your holy water. That's going to be the main thing that Alyssa uses to ward off any bad guys or spirits, because we don't actually technically fight things. We just throw holy water on stuff. And so that's where you can go and refill it to make sure you have plenty of water. You can also use it to open doors because that makes sense. Perfect sense.
Perfect sense, yes.
Yes. Champrul, if you want to go ahead and toss in 1 or 2 donations, now would be a good time for it as we run down the stairs very carefully.
Absolutely, very carefully. Absolutely. We have a $25 donation from Kite Rider. It says, "Here I go killing again. Come on, frame savers. We have to at least try to make it interesting. It's for a good cause. Come on, everybody. Kill the animals. Kill the animals."
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, you can't be reading that slander.
Oh, well, that part was my input, the last part.
Okay. You can go ahead and read another one.
All right, we've got a few no comment donations. From Rarest, we have a $25 donation, no comment. Thank you for that donation. And from Beans, we have a $25 donation with no comment. Thank you as well. By the way, chat, again, $33,700. We're getting so close to 34,000. I know we can do it.
So the lavender water is also going to be some important pickups because Linear is going to have a limited amount of these on hand at all times. And the lavender water is how we get out of the panic state quickly. Because if you've ever had lavender tea in real life, the entire purpose of it is to help you calm down and also prepare you for bed. In this case, it's to get us to calm down from having panic meter being filled up. And it also just rapidly depletes it so that you can get out of that state as quickly as possible. Also, we're still at the house, which is like the weirdest and creepiest house in the world. Just want to throw that out there. Like, this house kind of sucks.
For sure it does.
It really does.
So as we're running around here, you're going to meet a couple of characters that we're going to see a few times. There's one critical character that's going to come up that we don't see him. Technically, we see him in cutscenes, but we won't see him again until the end of the game. And once he comes up, we're going to talk extensively about him and how he's relevant TM. I say relevant TM because I don't know that I agree with the notion that he is relevant, but we're all going to find out and see. And so what Alyssa is discovering is that she's coming across a lot of newspapers and updates about murders that have happened in the area. And a cutscene that we just skipped here in particular is going to be with, I think this guy, is he the Smasher? He's the Sledgehammer. It smashes stuff. So we just skipped a cutscene where we watched the Sledgehammer do some extraordinarily brutal work to a little girl. And this is going to be where the game really picks up with all the problems that are happening and why Alyssa's involved with this for her 15th. The Sledgehammer actually went in and swung around, killed someone in the process, and there was a whole graphic scene, but it's important because as we skip cutscenes, we're going to have to like rehash specifically what those cutscenes are doing. So we haven't discovered yet why he came out killing her, nor why he's here in the first place, and it's all about to unfold in several other cutscenes. But Crime, if you wanted to go ahead and jump in for a second, what are some things you're looking forward to in this upcoming area?
This enemy, this subordinate, I think is what they're called. He basically is going to like chase you around and call your name after you the entire time. A lot. It's pretty funny. But there's also there's a lot of different points here. There's evade points and hide points in this game that Linear has to take advantage of. Since we're speedrunning, we're not really using the hide points. But the way that evade points work is that they can only be used once. If the enemy's too close, it disappears. And if the enemy sees you go in, they can still get you. You can basically only hide if you're not obvious about hiding. And then Linear is going to take advantage of that in several points throughout this next part of the run.
So as we're kind of refilling things and getting ready for more chases and whatnot, Champrul, I think you could read a couple more donations.
Absolutely. I see another $100 from Anonymous with no comment. Thank you for that generous donation. Again, all of these donations are going to a great cause with Race Forward, everybody.
You can go ahead and read a couple more.
I was actually going to ask all of y'all a question. We know PT's answer. LinearC, how do you feel on save versus kill the animals?
Can I say no comment?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Metroid Crime, what about you?
I think you gotta save them. They're so cute.
Save the I don't understand why y'all hate animals so much. It literally doesn't make sense to me.
I just love speed runs.
I mean, I guess that's fair, I suppose, but it's whatever. So we're coming up on another cutscene skip here where you literally get to see the person that Sledgehammer killed playing at the piano, and you start getting some backstory of why they're here. So as Alyssa's running around, you start discovering that first and foremost, none of these people are alive, and everyone is some type of spirit or ghost, or as Metroid said before, they're subordinates. And Alyssa is just confused because she's just a 14-year-old trying to find where her mom is, but none of this would be happening if she didn't come back home.
Exactly.
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same wavelength about that. If you would have stayed at boarding school, we wouldn't be in this situation. There's also going to be a couple of different puzzles like what Linear is doing here, where if we have the answer, we could go ahead and do it. But there's going to be a few cases where Linear is going to be required to pick up a specific document or a specific item in order to complete the puzzle, because the way that the game is coded in certain areas, if you do not have that on your person, then Alyssa will default to saying she doesn't know the answer, and you can't just cheat and put the code in. You have to have that on your person for her to know the answer, which kind of sucks. Which kind of sucks if I'm being very, very honest.
Oh, shoot. I was trying to avoid that. It's okay.
Just hiding right there.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get it if you do like a quick turn, twist the wall back to evade them, but sometimes it doesn't work.
So you have a couple of near misses like what you saw here, and I believe there's one point in this kind of confrontation where I think you're required to do a panic. But also,
I was just gonna say, I think I know what you're talking about. It usually happens, but I don't know if you're required to do it. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay. You'll also see Linear will sometimes just throw water because of the way that it delays everything and kind of puts you back on certain cycles. Because when she went up to that locker, it had that green kind of circle on it. That lets you know that you can still access and activate it. If you don't see that, then you're not allowed to hide in there right now. They just know where you're going to be.
Exactly. So what we did right there is like we broke Sledgehammer's attack because it takes time to break that seal on the door. So we did the animation to open up the locker, and that gave us enough time to open up the door and run past it.
So now we have another case where, as you can see there, we throw the water on them. The panic meter is not quite full yet, but for some reason, this man does not have the ability to simply crawl under or over rubble. So we are going to crawl away from him and kind of just get away from him in general. And these invisibility bands that Linear just picked up, we're going to need those for a lot later in the game. So we're just going to stockpile them here for the time being.
Melissa, where are you?
So Champrul, why do you insist on killing the animals though?
Well,
like, why do you?
I have a compromise for you actually on that. If we What if we, save a hedgehog? That's an animal, right?
Are you trying to... You realize that there's 2 Sonic runners on here right now.
And what
I just want to make sure that you know what you're walking into.
No, it's a good thing. We've opened up our incentive for the bonus movie DLC levels for Sonic Shadow Generations. Never before seen at GDQ levels. $3,000 is what we need for that. Make sure when you're on the donation page, click on that incentive and we can save a hedgehog and then kill the animals in Super Metroid 2.
No, see, you were doing so well and you had to mess it all up. Now I'm upset again. So this is going to be another rough area that we're walking into. So as you can see, Linear is teetering very dangerously close with that panic meter, but we're going to give you a chance to focus up because this area is very, very rough and it's a balancing act. So we need to focus here. I'm going to cut in to say she has to make a lap back as well.
I can breathe now.
Oh, good
Fantastic.
job. Amazing.
Yeah, that was great work.
Yeah, and it's total RNG how many times he stumbles like that, so.
Also, we love a good clip through the boss man. He might have a hammer, but we have the power of friendship and smallness. So the whole reason we had to be a little bit quiet there, as Linear kind of alluded to, is that it's RNG on whether or not she's going to lose her balance. And if you're holding on to the directional when that happens, it pushes her closer to falling off. And that is big time loss if we wind up falling off of there, because it's a whole thing. It's a horror game. There's no world where the horror game just cuts to the you died screen immediately. It has to be dramatic. There's a fade out, all these other things. But what also just appeared are these kind of butterflies that show up. And those come in explicitly to interrupt you from running, to harass you, to stop you. So now we're not just running from Sledgehammer, we're also running from weird butterflies that can spawn. This is also your reminder that you can only get water from the lion head fountains and not any other fountain, which I think is wild, because you're just putting water in a bottle. Crime, I don't think there's any way to delineate that the water from the lion heads is definitely holy water.
I know. It's so silly. We got these moths again here. And they will keep appearing throughout the game. It's not just for this section.
So a lot of the game in general is going to be this kind of back and forth through buildings and houses and other places as you try to discover what kind of led to these setups. And so the subordinates that we kind of mentioned before, they're kind of like lower level demons, if you want to think of it in a very simple way. And they're all working together for trying to revive a quote unquote higher demon. Now, they're not actually called that, but I just want to put that out there so that it's easy to follow. Think of them as like lower demons trying to follow higher demons. And so now we have a cutscene that we just skipped where you get to see the little girl that has been killed and what this all kind of led to. She was playing piano and she wanted to play piano for her dad at a recital. However, her dad was sent off to war. And as you would expect, he actually was killed in combat. She has no idea about this, so she was estranged as a direct result. And then that's what led to her demise. She was just minding her business playing piano. She didn't want any of this. And someone came up with murderous intent, and that's how we got here. Which is why that pocket watch you just picked up is important, because that's going to be a very critical piece to closing out this particular chapter of the game.
So we're actually headed for the first boss fight now, yeah? Which is coming up.
I want to say that, yeah, it should be coming up here in a second, because that'll give us a chance to, as we're getting set up, talk about the very enthralling boss mechanics crime. Do you want to go ahead and explain what the boss fight looks like for all fights in this?
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about. First of all, this is actually a magical girl game.
Yes, it is. It's true.
Yeah. So what'll happen is you'll see it start to happen, but basically the holy water transforms into a bow and arrow. Basically you come up these boss fights. It tells you how many like people they've killed, etc., and how bad of a dude they are. But basically you have to kind of fire arrows into the bosses to transfix the boss enough to do special attacks that will like light them up. And each boss, basically you're just firing arrows at them, stun locking them in place, and then trying to take them out.
So the other thing I think that's really important about this, as you can see, we got the leash on there. The leash only ever happens with a fully charged arrow. So what Linear's going to try and do for every boss fight in this entire run is put them on a fully charged shot so that they're leashed, and as you can see, they can't get to you anymore. And then you're going to have to just kind of endure the fight for an indeterminate amount of time until it does an animation like this one, showing that the magical girl has been unleashed, and now we're going to do kind of like our own little version of a spirit arrow. And ideally, if things go well, this will one-shot the boss. So let's see where we land at.
Yep, and there we go.
Perfect.
Let's go.
So that is going to be what we do for every single boss fight. And then, yeah, as Crime said, I think the corniest thing ever is it gives you their number of victims, and that translates to their health bar. So that item that just came up is going to be a key item that is needed to like kind of keep track of your progress in the game, because you get this little heart shape and you discover that it's actually part of a necklace that your mother gave to you that forms a kind of 4-leaf clover style necklace charm, and it has those 4 green stones on it. So now that we have one piece, we're going to try and figure out some more stuff about what's going on in town. Where's your mom? Why did this all happen? And then you just got the closing cutscene there that shows how you've let the little girl know, the little girl spirit, that, hey, your father's gone. Here's his watch. And then it actually allows you to reunite both of their spirits and close out that particular chapter, which then also, for lack of better phrasing, exercises Sledgehammer TM. I say exercise because he kind of just disappears.
Yeah.
After you shot magical girl arrows in him.
So one of the important things that actually happens, there's a cutscene here that we're going to skip with a whole bunch of stuff. Alyssa hugs a ghost somehow, and everything closes out for that story. And then Alyssa passes out and ends up in her bed, and it was technically all a dream? ? And at this point, your childhood friend Dennis enters through the window and gives you a key. But you would have no idea that Dennis is actually involved in this story because you will not see him until way later on.
And so Dennis is going to be someone that, like, I think between this point and then when he shows up again later, it's like a while too. Like he just appears. It's just like, I'm your childhood friend. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. There's awkward teenage flirting. There's like a little bit of cringe conversation. There's some really shoddy early 2000s like animation as well. It's got it all. It's got it all. I think while we're getting some of this puzzling done, we have time for a few more donations.
All right, just to catch us up on the save versus kill the animals. Save is still in a very strange lead, $941. Kill at $328. I also want to say, who's to say we're killing the animals? What if they're just kind of escaping on their own and we just didn't do it? But still saving time in the run.
Prime, do you see how they gaslighting us?
Right?
Do you see this? You really out here saying, oh, the animals just, you don't save them, but that doesn't mean they die. You better stop it. That entire place blows up.
They saw the exit sign. They got out of there. They're fine.
So animals can read.
They're smart. They're very, very smart.
You know what? I'm about to hop off these cars because you're about to make me upset. You're about to make me upset.
Also, on a serious note, we are getting super, super close to 34,000. We are less than $250 away, chat.
So something that Linear just did on that circle that you saw in the back there is, once again, Holy Water just does everything. She's setting that circle up so that when it's time to go back to it, instead of just doing it right then and there, it's already active. She just run and teleport out. We just had another spirit, a third spirit who's coming around that wants to give you a hug. We don't hug those spirits, but now we need to talk about the next unfortunate case of people that we're going to run into. So we've already dealt with Sledgehammer. And now we're going to deal with, oh God, it's the guy that dips people in acid.
Corroder.
The corroder, yes. And so this one actually takes place around a young man and his mother. It takes place around a young man and his mother. And when you first see them, you can see that they're walking around and they've been blinded. And that's because it introduces the corroder as the next kind of subordinate that you're going to be dealing with. And his whole thing, so the sledgehammer actually went around and killed people with a sledgehammer. The corroder actually goes into your house, steals all your belongings, and then proceeds to dip the people who live there in a vat of acid. I have several questions. One of which is, how do you carry that around that's big enough to hold a vat of acid that can dip entire people into? Like, what's happening? What is going on? And then the second thing, I feel like stealing them from people, all their stuff is enough. Why we have to dunk them in acid too? Like, I don't. But yeah, that's the corroder. And so you're going to kick off that story with the two of the people I just mentioned, the son and the mother, who just wanted to, again, mind their business. And then someone came in and messed it all up because they're jerks. And then they got dipped in giant vats of acid. Wild story. Mm-hmm. Actually out of control.
There's also
Go ahead.
There's also one other thing, one other cutscene that we did skip here, story related. Alyssa finds out in a cutscene that she's part of a group of people called the Rooters, who are young women in their teens that take out subordinates. So, you know, more magical girl stuff. But this is part of why her mom told her to stay away, because it's passed through the bloodline. Her mom was also a Rooter. And they take care of demons.
Oh, and then to that specific piece, she finds out that they become a Rooter officially on their 15th birthday.
Yes.
So, you know, the whole reason that her mom wanted her to stay away is because you'll find out throughout the storyline that Alyssa turns 15 tomorrow. We haven't talked about the main guy who antagonizes you yet. We haven't talked about that dude Dick. All right, so I was explicitly brought on to talk about this individual. So we're going to talk about that dude Dick, and it goes like this. So when you get home, there's a creepy guy in all black. He kind of looks like he should be Mr. X from Resident Evil. Haha, but it's a Capcom game, so of course it looks like that. And he just kind of taunts you about how you're going to learn so much and you're going to find out what's really going on and all this other nonsense. And then he just kind of bamfs, because that's what a lot of bad guys do. He's weird, and there's also a lot of nonsense that gets brought up around your family proper, because Alyssa's tragic backstory is that she has her mom, but she didn't really grow up with her dad, and you don't know why that was, and no one wants to talk about it. So in comes Dick, and he just kind of gives you cryptic clues about why and where that happens, and you find it out over time with cutscenes. But yeah, we hadn't talked about him yet, and how he just is hanging out in your house at the top of the stairs when you get there. Messy. Actually messy.
So weird.
So I wanted to take a moment too to talk about those repellent arrows. So this is another item that Linear is going to be stockpiling for the duration of the run. The repellent arrows are kind of like their own beefy, more powered up arrows that on the earlier bosses, we don't particularly need to use them. We're going to try and hold on to as many of those as we can for later bosses in the run, because there's going to be a point where we're going to need to dump a lot of those arrows into bosses. So using them early on doesn't really serve us. And while we run around the maze that is our house, I believe we have some time for some donations.
All right. We have a $25 donation from Not a Fish. And they say nobody loves their job as much as Corroder. He's the best. Also, chat, we are less than $200 away from $34,000 raised for Race Forward. We are so close, chat.
Thank you so much, Champrul. So another thing that you're going to see in this game is somehow, some way, it doesn't really get talked about, but you're kind of traversing between real life and like spiritual worlds and whatnot, because you just have these ground teleportation panels that send you to wherever to meet these other subordinates and learn about their crimes and whatnot, and then you have to take care of them. We haven't got to my favorite boss yet. I just like saying his name because he's a mess. But the Corroder, I think, is the most interesting one, if only because, yeah, he just dips people in vats of acid when he steals all your stuff. Actually out of control and wild.
Like, how does he transport everything?
That's what I'm saying. Like, the vat's huge. In order to be big enough to put people into it, that has to be gargantuan size.
Yeah, plus
so
all the acid itself, too. It's got to be heavy.
Yes. Like, where are you storing all of this, dude? Like, what? Like, do you invite people over? Oh, don't pay attention to that. That's just my acid vat, and no one thinks anything about it. Like, what's happening here? Or like, you have someone come over, it's like, why does it always smell like burnt bacon in your house? And you just let that rock? Like, there are so many questions that I have, but I also think from what he looks like appearance-wise, my favorite detail about him is that even though he's the Corroder, in terms of his model and design, he kind of looks like the people who run around and sprays bugs.
You know what? You're right.
He looks like the dude that run around and sprays bugs. And I'm like, so you're a Corroder of like ants? Is Zoolander in the call? Like, I don't understand what's happening right now. What do you mean? But yeah, if you saw the cutscene, and there's a Corroder right there, by the way. If you saw the cutscene, you actually get to watch him physically dump a person into the vat. So this isn't like a vat where it's like, oh, you're exaggerating. Maybe it's like a half vat like they have in restaurants and stuff with those industrial sinks. No, it's a literal like giant vat. And he just chucks people over into it. Like, it completely requires him to stretch up and dump them in there. I have several questions about Clock Tower 3. And none of them are ever going to get answered. So there we just saw that. Another thing that's important about this run, because I want to make it clear to everybody too, that this is a challenging run. It's a hard run because there's just a lot of stuff that are very placement specific, timing specific. So what you saw there just now of Linear throwing holy water, what looks like into the air, she actually was clipping it around the corner to ensure that it hits the Corroder. And because it hits the Corroder, he gets stunned. But otherwise, if you don't know that he's coming around that corner, it's just a jump scare, and then it puts you at a higher chance of being in the panic meter. And you're going to see that that's going to happen several times over with certain placement for how water is thrown on doors, how water is thrown on certain walls, or how in a certain distance the water will still count. Because even though there's just a ton of water that just goes absolutely nowhere and gets wasted in a lot of cases, as long as it hits within a certain range, it'll count it as a full hit. So now we just found the shawl of the mother that the son made for her, and this is the missing item that you'll need for post-boss fight to close out this particular chapter. And as we run around a little bit and we keep running from this man that has, fly juice to spray everywhere, we could probably listen to a couple more donations.
Okay, fly juice, yes.
Fly juice.
I have an announcement for everybody. Actually, we have a milestone now for the bonus run of Sonic Adventure 2. Again, we're getting super close to 34,000. To get that bonus run, everybody, we need to hit $40,000. We are very close to that. We just need to make sure we hit that. So again, we're gonna call it a 2-for-1. And again, Sonic's a hedgehog, so we can save the hedgehog. It's a 2-for-1 saving the animals. You can put it towards the incentive of that bonus movie DLC for Sonic Shadow Generations, or you could put it towards the bid war for Save versus Kill the Animals. When you do that, make sure you're clicking on that on the donation page. And when you do that, it's a 2-for-1. It's going to go towards that milestone as well to get Sonic Adventure 2.
I'm kind of hyped for the DLC levels, I'm not going to front.
Me too. It's very good. It's
quite
really,
good.
really cool. Definitely want to see it.
Especially, I want to see those because it's based on the Sonic 3 movie too. Mm-hmm. So the DLC levels literally came out because the movie came out. So these are never before seen yet on GDQ levels, and they're super chill. They're super fun. There's a lot that's going to be talked about in terms of tech. I think they even change up like what kind of times and stuff they're going to use to track it. Oh, this man tried it, but we had lavender water. Good job on that.
Thank you.
We had our calming beverages.
I didn't want to take a big risk, so I'm like, I better use it just in case.
Yeah. And I think you get plenty of them throughout the entire run, if I recall.
Oh, yeah, we'll be fine. We're fine.
Sensational. But yeah, chat, those DLC levels, you're going to want to get into that. And especially since it contributes towards Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Just saying. I am just saying. I would like to commentate for that. Oh, we're magical girling again. So yeah, you can see, he looks like he sprays bugs for a living. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, what are we... Okay. But yeah, he has this big vat of stuff. Also, I love his running animation more than life because it's so silly looking.
Extremely silly.
So something else that we haven't mentioned quite yet in terms of how the bosses work, because this is an old school tank control style game as well, they have the ability to... I feel like it's a stretch to call it strafing, but it kind of is like strafing. And because your shots, once you go into that aiming animation, you have to stay in that animation. That means that if you start shooting and they decide to go to the side, that's a shot that for all intents and purposes, you either need to decide to do damage or you just let it kind of go to the wayside, which is what we're seeing is happening with a couple of these shots because he's not playing well.
Nope.
But he is shimmying towards us. Now he's playing a little bit better. Linear is also purposely after shots moving back because that spray can get to her, and after enough damage, that is also a game over. So you can game over if you are hit while in panic status, and you can game over if during the boss fight you run out of your health bar here in the upper left. So if you want to go ahead and read some donations while we bully this man, that would be appreciated.
All right, we've got a $25 donation from Curlcat with no comment. But again, thank you so much for that donation going towards a good cause with Race Forward. We're fighting for racial justice.
Excellent. So now oh, you're kidding. come on, dude. Okay, there you go.
There we go.
I was like, come on. You're like, you have 1 HP.
He wanted to hold
Let's
on
not
for
do
dear
this.
life. He didn't want to leave yet.
Yeah.
Absolutely dreadful. Messy. So this is where things get extra interesting, because as we're going out of here, you would think that things are strange enough, but there's going to be a cutscene that comes up that makes things even weirder.
It's
I
absurd.
It's so ridiculous, because you're going to go back to your house and Dick is going to be there. And then out of nowhere, out of absolutely nowhere, you're going to have your entire house just completely destroyed. And the reason it's destroyed is because you find out that your house was built on the exact, there he is, your house was built on the exact location where the clock tower is. And so the clock tower jets up from the earth and destroys your house. And as your house is being destroyed, there's a cinematic of Alyssa on gears floating towards it. And as it's floating towards it, she's like doing this kind of Una-esque spinning dance, and she looks all happy and jovial. It's so absurd. And she's just like, yeah. And it's like, your house just got destroyed. What in the world are you happy about? and that's when you find out everything that's wrong with this, because you're a rooter and your job is to get rid of subordinates, and you start this job at the ripe age of 15, and now your house has been destroyed. So, guess that's what you do now. Again, could have stayed at boarding school. Could have just stayed at boarding school. Did not. Oh, so Crime, you're going to have to do most of the talking for this one, because I'm just going to clown on him, because it's the chopper. It's the chopper.
Oh, goodness. There was also a part of that cutscene where Dick comes out and he's like, I'm so impressed with you. And then he says something about them uniting forever on her 15th birthday. So that kind of happens around the same time that, Alyssa's floating and surfing on a hoverboard of a clock tower face.
Yeah, that was magical derogatory.
I highly recommend looking up the cutscenes. There's a whole compilation of them just back to back on YouTube. It's definitely with a laugh.
It's just one of those things that there's the chopper. The chopper. I just love him because he has these two axes and he just chases you, and they're like so adamantly ready to be thrown at you, but he never actually there he goes.
Oh, there he goes.
Well, he's gonna be a bad behaving person. That was my fault. He was like, nah, I'm gonna correct you. I was thinking about the boss fight. But yeah, he can walk up on you and throw the axes, and it's just extraordinarily irritating. But this area in particular, the elevator that Linear is taking, the second that you walk into that room, that is apparently a safe room. Like, for whatever reason, the subordinates are allergic to elevators.
Yeah.
They're allergic to elevators.
Another fun fact about that is that you have to go into that elevator not panicked, or else you can't use the elevator, basically. Like, it does trap you in whatever panic state you were, as being as like a safe point. So you have to do some strategic making sure that you're not panicked before you go in there.
And so now you can see we kind of had to put Chopper down for a second. We still have puzzles to solve and things to do. But as we're running around this area, collecting up some items, doing some heckin' puzzles, I think we have some time for a couple of donations.
Okay, and I just want to say this is very reckless behavior for a 15-year-old. 15?
Yep.
My gosh.
14-year-old.
about
No,
to
she's
turn
14.
15, yeah.
Too much. Chat, we are less than $100 away from $34,000. We've got a $25 donation from Gaston, donating the price of 5 dozen eggs. I can skip breakfast for one morning, kill those animals for out of this world decor.
Y'all gonna get enough for trying to kill these animals.
They saw the exit sign.
They can't read. Animals can't read. What do you mean? So here we're doing a quick little puzzle where if you don't have rubber gloves, Alyssa won't do them. And then it's not as easy as just connecting one to the other. You have to make sure that you do the crisscross, because why wouldn't the wires be in an absolutely terrible setup like that that definitely doesn't cause a fire hazard? Why would that ever be the case? So we're gonna run around here some more. And Crime, you have to help me out for a hot second because I don't remember who the chopper kills. Did we get to see that? I don't think we get to see that.
Oh, I remember. It wasn't this the whole thing with, No, wait, never mind. I'm trying not to spoil stuff. I mean, at the same time, you know, I didn't spoil this very old game.
It's I don't think we do see him because the Choppa is the one person in this entire run that we wind up having to fight twice.
Yes, exactly.
And so I think as you're going through, you just kind of fight him the first time, and then things get more weird to you.
On.
Hey, whoa,
Really?
whoa. Chill. It's not okay, Holmes. That is not gangsta. That's not okay in any way, shape, or form. Oh yeah, he's gonna chase you. I just love the stiffness in his arms. It looks so uncomfortable. he looks weird. He looks weird. But yeah, I don't think we actually get to see any of the people that he did in, because I think it takes you to the next area, and then I do remember.
Do you remember? Okay,
I do remember who he killed.
There was the whole sequence with we talked earlier before about how we don't know what happened to her dad.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So you kind of there is a cutscene coming up where you basically see Dick murdering her dad. Basically pushing him off the balcony onto an axe through the head.
I want to emphasize something about that cutscene. The axe was not set up to do that, and as he was falling, the axe randomly faces upright so that he can land right on it. Like, it literally is flush to the log, and then as he's falling, it just tilts upright so that your dad's head could land on it perfectly. Mm-hmm. Not even kidding. But yeah, Dick kills your dad.
Yep.
By the way, Dick is your granddad. Technically. Kind of. It's complicated. We'll explain more as we get further in. But just hold on to that piece of intel, chat. Hold on to that. So, I want to know, in terms of baddies, I want to get this from chat specifically. We're watching Clock Tower, which is done by Capcom. You probably, if you've played Resident Evil, can see some of the Resident Evil influence, especially if you get a chance to see Dick's design. It literally looks just like Mr. X. And then the way that they have big hunkin' dudes that are here to attack you, which is very reminiscent of the Resident Evil series. Can I see through some comments? I want to know who some of your favorite horror game baddies are. Mr. X, the Tyrant, you could even say Will Birkin. I want to know. I'm interested in that intel. But this is the Chopper. The Chopper's here with 921 years. He got that chunky health bar. And we're gonna. I forgot about the swirling.
Yeah. The axe.
The swirling axes is actually phenomenal. It's like he's juggling, but not really. It's wonderful on so many levels. So there are a couple attacks that we don't want him to do, because if he starts gearing up to throw things, it gets very sketchy, because you have to make sure, once again, that Alyssa is not in the middle of an aiming animation, or else she won't be able to move. Meanwhile, he's over here playing double dutch with his axes. Oh, that was unfortunate.
He's not behaving today.
Yeah, it's we know that the RNG demons do that sometimes.
No,
we know
can
that
I
the
just
RNG
hop
demons.
in?
Oh, sure.
I just want to say we have crossed over $34,000 to race forward, everybody.
Woo!
Yes, let's go.
Good job, team. Love that for us. Thank you so much for all your contributions, and thank you so much for your help in making this event as amazing and successful as it has been. I cannot wait for Sonic stuff. I know you can do it because you're cute. Chat's cute. Sorry, I got weird there for a second.
I love karaoke time.
Oh, I see. It comes in spurts. It comes in spurts. So we're just waiting for this cutscene now. Oh, we already passed the cutscene. So after you kill the Choppa is when he reveals the grand scheme that the subordinates are working to bring in an individual to make them kind of like a higher power. And the people that the Choppa is responsible for killing are other rooters. So Linear just went through a cutscene where she goes over to a pile of gravestones, and it's in a graveyard, and it's multiple previous rooters that are talking about how they gave in to some type of inner demon and wound up getting killed by him, or he just bested them. And there's several rooters now whose spirits that you have to kind of put to rest, so to speak, in order to progress this kind of area. But don't worry, the Choppa is going to let you know as often as he can that he's responsible for this.
But yeah, we're going. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh,
no, I'm not talking about anything.
So currently we're in this basically this mausoleum puzzle section, and there's several different ghosts. There's a red ghost, blue ghost, and yellow ghost, and you have to basically give the spirits back their stones, which you're grabbing from these sites here. So you're basically going around, grabbing a bunch of items, splashing ghosts with water, and matching stones to the ghost color to give it back. And it's just a lot of back and forth. I also have a note here that says if ghosts catch you, they will break you in half. And in half is in caps. So it's definitely do not want to get caught by them.
So if they panic you, yeah, that's how they kill you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just taken aback by the breaking in half part, because I think I missed that in my notes. Like, what in the world?
I didn't let it happen to our playthrough. It's not the most pleasant thing to watch, but it has happened to me.
Oh, okay. That's very normal behavior. You know, ghosts grabbing bodies and breaking them in half. That's so real. Yeah. So these are all the spirits of those rooters that we were talking about previously, and what Linear is doing right now is actually kind of a little bit of a puzzle. You're supposed to take the pieces out of the reliefs in all these areas and put them in the correct reliefs. And as soon as you put them in the correct relief, then the ghost attached to that specific rooter will disappear, which is what you would have just saw there if we didn't skip the cutscene. But you can see it's kind of it dissipating towards the top. So while Linear is kind of running around and doing this puzzle, we're going to be doing this for a few moments. I think we could get some updates from Champrul, or maybe even some heckin' donations, or I would even say we could have a little bit of both.
I agree with that. Let's get some of both. We've got a $25 donation from Cece. It's always great to see the magical girl horror game get time to shine. Good luck, Linear.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I'm seeing some traction on the bonus movie DLC levels for Sonic Shadow Generations. Woo! Don't forget, chat, when you are donating, you want to hit that incentive on the donate page. And it's super simple, by the way, to get to the donations. You can type !donate in chat. You'll get the link that way. Or if you're on the video player, scroll down just a little bit and you'll see a button to click on to donate as well.
Fantastic. Can I add something to that, really? Because I want to make sure the chat knows this, too. This is critical intel.
Of course, yeah.
Only if you let me.
No, you can't. Sorry.
I'll just drink water and be quiet, man.
No, please, PT, please tell us. We like intel.
I was gonna say, this is your reminder too. We just went through the prizes segment, and for a $25 donation, you could be entered into all of those prizes. I want someone to take home the Shadow Chow Anagurumi because it's adorable. I really just wanted an excuse to talk about the Shadow Chow Anagurumi.
I'm fair.
It's super cute.
I'm still obsessing over that cat pillow.
Cat pillow, pretty good. Cat pillow, pretty good. It's very soft. It's really soft. I got to hold it. That's like prime napping material. But I digress. We are still doing Le Puzzle. And I believe there's 4 of these total question mark?
We are done with this puzzle.
Fantastic. So we are going to be doing some lapping around, going back through the graveyard and whatnot. Choppa will yell at us some more. He thinks he's like really cool. He isn't. He's a nerd that plays double dutch with axes. So we're not really particularly terrified of him. Well, we should be, but it's an early 2000s horror game. I don't know how many of these are scaring us like that anymore, but I could be way wrong. So throughout some of these cutscenes too, you start learning some more about why you haven't found your mother. And you get a couple of cryptic notes. You get a couple of things saying that she's proud of you, but you need to get out, that type of energy. And people are telling you about how the chopper, I think, deliberately lies to you and says that your mom is dead. Which is not nice. That's not nice at all. But that's okay because we're working towards making sure he's dead here in a little bit.
So this next part can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but as y'all were probably going to explain, it's just the reason why we picked up the invisibility bands. It can be done without them, but it makes it so much easier, especially when you're trying to speedrun it to hell.
Yeah, especially in this section, because this section's pretty brutal coming up. Yeah, you can basically just use an invisibility band to just very quickly get through a section, especially because there's also like those moths I was talking about, or those weird butterflies. They're all over the place in this after that last cutscene as well.
And I think too that we're going to be using those invisibility bands explicitly to kind of dodge the setup for this fight, because the next time you see him, you're not going to fight him. It's going to be another sequence where you have to run from him a lot TM. So we're going to use those, and if you get to hear the sound file, I think it's him saying something along the lines of "interesting trick you have there" or something like that. I don't remember off the top of my head, but he says it constantly, and you just saw there that the moths were trying it TM because they're starting to flutter around, bother, aggravate. But now that you have the invisibility band, I keep saying invisibility band, that gives you the space to do some puzzles unimpeded.
You can't get away.
And so we're gonna use these a few times. He walked up into that. I don't care what anybody wants to say. That was his fault. Nobody
It
told
was
him.
definitely his fault.
No, he walked up on you. Like that was wild. He actually thought he was gonna do it. And I think my favorite thing about the invisibility band is that you can literally use it right here in front of him. And he just, as you're standing in front of him, he's just like, "Oh, where did you go?" So as we're finishing out this puzzle here, it's going to put us back into that graveyard. And when we go into the graveyard, we're going to actually have to fight him a second time. So as we're getting set up for that, do we have any donations?
We do. I want to give a quick update on those bonus movie DLC levels. We're about $2,700 away from that. Don't forget, chat, there is a 2-for-1. When you're donating, click on that incentive for those levels, and Nadia will get to show those off for us. And again, these are never before seen on GDQ levels. And Nadia is also new to these events and to the Black in a Flash community. So we want to make sure that we're able to get those levels in. And we do have a $20 donation from Laz Lotus. It says, "Doing my part to get us to higher numbers for Race Forward. Best of luck, Linear. You're an amazing runner in person, and you're killing it on this run so far. Also, high PT and crime. I'm a really big fan. Congratulations on an amazing weekend, everyone.
Oh, thank you so much, Laszlo.
Thanks, Laszlo.
Thanks, Laszlo. Love you. And I think you got time for maybe one more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quickly, I want to ask, how much time do we think we have left in the run?
Oh, geez. You're asking me to math without remembering things.
While you're mathing, a $10 donation from Anonymous. No comment, but thank you for the donation going to Race Forward.
Maybe 40 minutes?
Ooh, okay. All right, so
I'm looking at the time on the stream. That's why I was saying that with like a big squishy noise of I don't know.
It depends on how the rest of it
I was
goes.
gonna say I was gonna say it also really depends on how RNG wants to behave, because we saw that Champrul was already acting up a little bit earlier. If he does more sidestepping nonsense, that might give us a little bit of time loss, which is unfortunate. But the next sections that we're getting into are arguably going to be, it's the later game, so it's of course the tougher sections. And we have a lot of different tricks and stuff that we have to do and be mindful of, because it's going to be all those water clips. It's going to be getting things set up way ahead of time. It's going to be making sure that our timing is on for a couple of puzzles and a couple of places that we have to traverse through. And we have to do it multiple times because of course we do. So things feel pretty. Nope, I'm not going to finish that. Nope, I'm not going to finish that.
okay, I'll cut you off there, and I'll just say, so it seems that we need to get this incentive met sooner than later, chat. Again, $2,700 left for those bonus movie DLC levels. We want to make sure we see those.
So now we're getting ready to actually do the Chopper Fight 2.0. Because you're tired of him bragging in your ear about how he killed all these people, so you got to 86 this conversation. Everyone is tired of him. You might not have heard him, but just you could feel it in your heart. You're tired of him. I also love that this was just a covert magical girl game.
Yeah, I love that.
I really just want to know what was the reasoning behind making her a magical girl, because the previous clock towers are all point and clicks that you just kind of like, you run around, you get some clues. You might be possessed every now and again with some type of angry man in your body, apparently, TM. Things I've learned about previous clock towers. And then this one, they decided, no, you're going to fight people and you're going to have magical girl arrows. But that was nice of him to back up on you. Oh, that's why he backed up, though. Oh, yeah, nice knockover. Oh, he stood up for that. Wow. And he's just playing double dutch.
He's just running towards you with spinning the axes.
I'm telling you, it's just double dutch. He even made a bad throw just to let you hit him some more. I love that for you.
Thank you. Usually he doesn't behave this well.
I want to know what was the mindset behind making it kind of like a random-ish number. I say random-ish because, as you can see, chat, there's not really a lot of rhyme or reason. There's just, you keep shooting arrows until you decide it's time to shoot the big arrow. Is it health dependent? No. Is it shot dependent? No. So when do you shoot it? Meh. Oh my god. Oh, but he's on the ground. There we go.
There we go.
Another 1 HP dreamer.
Oh yeah, because
Get him out of here.
Corona did that to us too. I don't know how I forget that system.
I'm looking at chat too, and I hate that I read Top Secret Fox's comment and I can hear the song. Because it just says choppa style, chop, chop, choppa style. I not only can hear the song, I can see the music video. I don't know what that says about me. I gotta scrub my brain after that.
Oh, hey, it's Dennis.
Hey, Dennis, in your ugly sweater. Hi. Yeah, it's your childhood friend that you saw literally an hour ago that is now here to say he wants to help. You know, another 14-year-old. Two 14-year-olds just having a grandiose time killing spirits. Oh, it also should be emphasized that you explain to Dennis what's happening, and Dennis does not immediately leave you in the trenches. He says, I want to come help. Because it's very normal to be a 14-year-old child in a school uniform that says, yeah, I come from a lineage of people who exorcise ghosts and spirits and demons. And Dennis is like, sounds great.
Sign me up.
All right, sign me up. I'm so into it. So right now we're in the hospital and Dennis gets lured in here. And as you can see, he's no longer with us. It's because Dennis tells you early on in that cutscene that we skipped about how he's lonely. And the reason that he's lonely is because he lives with his sister who has been gone overseas as a nurse. And so they get to this hospital and all of a sudden he realizes that this looks like the hospital that his sister works in. So he gets tricked into believing that he's going to see his sister again, only to find out when he goes to hug her that that is not a sister, it is a subordinate. And for people who enjoy the Clock Tower series, the subordinates in this particular level are throwbacks to the Clock Tower 1 antagonist of Scissor Man, because they both have the big chomping scissors. Now, why they don't just kill Dennis is beyond my comprehension, but I'm not a supervillain, so I don't know the semantics and details behind dragging out your supervillainy. I don't know. I would have just killed him. So there you got to see a person with scissors, but in this particular case, there's actually two of them. And so Linear is in a section of the game now where she has to go through this looking glass, and if she didn't pick up a certain item, she wouldn't be able to use the looking glass. But now she's going to be kind of bouncing back and forth between two separate worlds, so to speak, where in one world you have the scissor woman, and then in the other world you have the scissor man. And because it's a mirrored world, what's going to happen here for this puzzle is you have to get items in one world in order to open up or access other things in the other world. So if you try to do things in the first world and you haven't unlocked how to actually activate them or access them in the second, it'll just block you out of it. It'll just say, nope, not a thing you get to do, not a thing. So there we just had kind of like some strategic setup because again, the subordinates don't know how to kneel down. So Linear waited till a prime opportunity to actually get up and throw the water without actually having to take damage or any type of interruption. I didn't actually emphasize that, and I apologize to the chat and viewers all around. When your panic meter is not full, it is not a one-hit kill. You can take a hit, but it fills up more of your panic meter. Very nice, very nice.
Thank you.
Throw water on them. It is when your panic meter fills up completely that you are now in a dangerous spot, because if you're panicking and you take a hit, that is a game over. That is an insta-death. But as long as your panic meter isn't full, you can take a hit or two. Ideally, we don't want to do that, but that is a way that we can kind of mitigate some of the nonsense that they're doing. You just want to make sure you're not actually panicking.
It's also, they can't make you panic or hit you while you're in the crawling animation, so you can take advantage of that as well as you're going through these sections, like we saw before when we splashed that enemy to get away from them.
Exactly. And because it just gives you like that freedom, quite literally, we're going to see probably a few more times where there might be a case of you might just stay in the crawling animation and let them get to a spot where it's a lot better and easier for you to say, okay, I can get up and throw water on you now. Because apparently they do not have the power of looking down. They don't have the power of crouching. They do not have the power of adjusting and just aiming down. Nope, you're just safe there. So that puzzle wouldn't have been completed if you didn't do the looking glass tricks that we were talking about previously. You would need keys from both sides. Also, random urns have holy water in it. Not fountains, but urns, vases, occasionally have holy water. Those occasionally have holy water.
Who's refilling those?
You know, sometimes
That's
it's
a good
better that we
question.
don't ask questions. Oh, so now you have the cutscene where you get to see your grandfather kind of slowly walking towards the clock tower, and you start piecing together everything that's wrong. Because, of course, when you see I'll call it a vision of your grandfather killing your dad, Alyssa, because she's a naive 14-year-old, decides that she doesn't believe it. She didn't perceive it, therefore it's not real. So now she's trying to figure out why her grandfather is going to the clock tower. And as you're, again, just trying to mind your business and run, you're going to get chased by Scissor Man. That was unfortunate, but luckily he forgot to lock on, so it looks like he's just going to whip everything, and that's fine. Nice circle around. And you're like, as you can see there, chat, we're right at the cusp of panic. So that was extraordinarily lucky, because if that would have went into a panic state, that could have got real sketch very, very, very quickly. I'm going to pick up another arrow. Again, we're just stockpiling these. And as you're going through the main clock tower areas, you start learning, again, much more about why we're here and what's happening. Because we're still technically in the hospital setting. And by the way, all of this is happening and we still have no idea where Dennis is. He's just gone.
In that time.
Nice. Right. You thought she was cute missing the first time. So this particular area gets really, really rough, because if you don't get him there, as I mentioned previously, that hiding spot is no longer available. And we want that there to kind of force him to disappear, because you need this item because it has information for things that you need to unlock. As I mentioned previously, there's some types of puzzles and combinations in the game that if you don't have the item, then Alyssa will simply be like, I don't know how to do that. I have no idea. But now we have the thing, so she has acquired knowledge. And yes, Top Secret Fox, a naive 14-year-old who should have been at somebody's boarding school. Never forget, she could have just stayed in school. And this is where we are now. So as we're running around this area, I think we can squeak in a couple of donations.
Okay. Just an update on the bonus movie DLC levels. We have 370 of the $3,000 we need for that. Again, Nadia is new to the GDQ stage, and those levels are new, never before seen on the GDQ stage as well. We want to make sure we are able to meet that. And we have some donations in support of that, like a $50 donation from Nathaniel, more Sonic, more GDQ, less than 3, and trans rights.
We do stand trans rights in this house. Trans rights, Black
rights.
joy. Love to see all of it. Love to see it.
So you'll
Go
notice
ahead and-
Linear
Oh, go
is.
ahead.
Oh, sorry. You'll notice Linear that there's. That there is a ghost. There's a red ghost creeping around in that hallway behind Alyssa there, and Linear is just like slowly creeping along the outside. The ghost is wandering around, but it can't actually scare you while you're sneaking here, thankfully. Although it looks very scary.
I was gonna say, like, my heart is still, like, even knowing that, my heart dropped for a hot second, because it's the fact that she's just cutting through you constantly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, she sees you there. She understands that you're there, but they have it set up to where if you're out here, you cannot actually be interacted with. Otherwise, that would be extremely sketch.
Yeah, I would have quit this game ages ago. The ghost would get me right there.
So you'll notice that section there with the steel bar, the note that we got before told Alyssa that she could move the steel bar. If she didn't get that note, she never would have known to do that. Which is just absolutely silly.
Yeah, it's kind of absurd that some of the stuff that you need notes for are things that are like, I can understand needing a note for, hey, this has a key code to a door, or hey, you need to put this in this order. No, she needed a note to know that you can remove a bar. A bent bar that was on its hinges, no less. So here we're collecting crests for another puzzle, and I believe we're coming up to an area where Linear is going to need to focus a little. Or I'm a little bit earlier. I'm a little early.
Yeah, you're a little bit early. I'm good here.
Yes. So we're picking up some crests, and we're going to have to put those crests in, you guessed it, little alcoves or recesses that match the crest. And it's going to require some timing, walking through some cruddy hallways with everyone's favorite of pieces or suits of armor that have come to life and can swing down axes because, you know, logic. And I see some people in chat saying things like, my favorite section. Wow. That's, yeah. This section feels stressful. Got him. So now we're going to go out here and do more ledge stuff. I think one of the most dangerous things about the ledges is what you just saw there. They'll psych you out because rocks will fall, and it gives the impression that you will fall in turn.
So thankfully, even though her music is playing, she cannot get us.
Can I pop in with an idea from chat?
Of course, go ahead.
So I see in chat a $5 hype train at the hour 20-minute mark. I love that idea because chat right now we're at $34,183, almost $34,200. Never mind, I spoke too soon. We're at $34,233, but we are still trying to get that milestone, 40,000 to get the bonus run Sonic Adventure 2 battle.
I believe in you, chat. I have all the faith in you. You've done amazing work this entire 4-day period. I think that we can go out with a really big bang. I want to see 40K before the end of the night. Which ironically is like right after Sonic Adventure 2 battle once we redeem it. Yeah. Oh! So I believe it's this area. Did you already do it?
It hasn't happened yet.
You haven't done it yet. I was going to say, it's this particular area. So now what we're going to have to do is run through this hallway while these axes fall. So we're going to give Linear some space to focus up some. Oh, but we have to talk about this absolutely out of control painting. So there's this monster painting. Absolutely absurd size painting of a very kind of, I can't say that word, a very interesting looking man on a horse. Very interesting looking man on a horse. And as we cut through all these notes and whatnot, you find out that this is kind of like your grandpa's idol. Oh yeah, there's Dennis, by the way. Remember Dennis? That dude you're supposed to be looking for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of back-to-back cutscenes here where there's this projected image of Dennis being tortured by the scissors, and it's like, how did they record that and put it on the projector? Is this like supposed to be, are they live streaming this? What's going on?
Yeah. I also love the makeshift elevator that is, oh God, the Iron Maiden elevator. I had to think about that for a second. I was like, I know what that is. It's an Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden elevator is out of control. And now we're gonna do... Sorry, we're focusing.
One tie down.
Yep. So the timing on that is a little bit wonky. So Linear gets herself lined up in a specific placement and then waits for the axis to fall at a certain interval before she goes and runs straight through. Because otherwise, in a casual playthrough, you probably will catch yourself having to stop in between each one. And that's not optimal.
Oh shoot, I did that by accident. Oh well. Oh, I hope this doesn't mess things up. Let's see. Nope, I gotta do it again. I accidentally drew the water, so if you don't get through that the first time, it makes you do it again and accidentally press the button for the water, but it's no big deal.
Okay. While you're getting reset up, can we get some donations?
We can indeed. And don't forget, chat, we've got that $5 dono train coming up in just a couple minutes. Right now, we're at $34,243. I think if that dono train is strong enough, we can get to $35,000 on that. I do have a $50 donation from Anonymous with no comment. No comment was needed, but thank you for the donation still. Also, a $10 donation from Jay, Trans Rights Black Joy. Thank you, runners and staff, for a great event. Here's my contribution to the push for the $40,000 milestone.
Thank you so much. We do love Black Joy in this house. And so it looks like we should be through this time?
Yep, we made it through. And the best thing is we didn't talk about the single phones, but I'll let y'all talk about this part first.
That's all you crime.
Oh, goodness. Okay, so this next section, so there's like this scene of Dennis being tortured in this room. There's like this whole thing where they basically tricked Alyssa with a fake of Dennis, and then the table flips, and then Dennis is actually there being tortured. So like, there's some really elaborate theatrics going on here. So eventually, what basically happens is just we leave Dennis and we get out of there and continue to do our running around here.
So, chat, I don't know if you saw that big painting, but remember how I said it had an interesting looking man on it and then a horse? And then when we just passed it, it was just a horse? I'm going to be quiet for a second.
Right, I used the sigil stone there. We had 2 of them. And that's in case stuff goes bad. I try not to use it unless I have to, but I know this is pretty much all we needed to do to get through this. But so it saves you from final death blow because those axes are one-hit death blows normally. And if you don't have anything, you have to start it all over. All right,
That's good placement and use of it. Like how she turns around to look at it as it closes. It's like, no, it's closed. You gotta keep pushing. But yes, that big painting, the reason why it has just a horse on it now is because your grandfather comes in and he makes this really kind of heartfelt, touching speech. And then we'll get to the boss fight about how, oh, you want me to sacrifice my granddaughter. That's where I'm gonna leave chat while we do this fight. Because apparently we're sacrificing people. Oh, she can teleport. I forgot about that.
So she's like one of the only enemies in the game. It doesn't auto-targets, but you can knock her out with 2 repellent arrows, or you can kill her the old-fashioned way, but this is a speed run, so we do it the fastest way.
Chat, I want to say I see you. These $5 donations, that donation train is going strong.
Oh, we riding trains out here?
We got to.
Oh, that sidewalk is
I hate it. Oh, wow.
So in particular, chat, this fight is probably the biggest pain thus far because I know Linear is going to say that the final fight is probably the worst fight, but I don't know. In watching this and studying the game alongside Linear and a couple other horror speedrunners that happen to run this at the same time out of boredom, which was wild.
I would have to say, this dude, I would agree with you. I consider him one of the hardest.
This dude's awful.
Yeah. He moves around so much. There's so much sidestepping going on.
Well, he moves around a ton. He also, look, there he goes again. He moves around a ton. Trying to get him leashed feels like an impossible task. But he also, y'all just got a chance to see, he has these kind of like scythes that he can throw around. And the range on those is absurd. Was he upside? Oh, yeah, he has this move. I forgot about that. He was upside down deliberately. No, you can't come over here. Chill out. Relax. Relax. You're doing a lot, homie.
Oh.
Oh. So another thing that just happened that we haven't seen often in this run is the fact that your leash can break. So those are not always guaranteed to just hold them for the rest of the fight. They can pop off of those. And once again, when do they pop off? Sure, that's when they pop off. So now we might be getting a little bit in a weird spot here.
Yeah.
Linear's trying to purposely get as far as possible. But as you can see, again, the range on that is... Oh, wow, wow, wow. Whoa, whoa,
He
jump
came over
scare,
fast.
jump scare. Get out of here, dude. Or you can do that? Question mark? You know what? Sure, exactly, P. Brother. Brother. We're trying to speed run.
Now a good time for an announcement real quick.
Sure.
Okay, I just want to say for everybody, if you're new here, we are raising money for Race Forward. This is Back to Black 2025. Exclamation donate in chat will get you that donation information. And we're actually in the middle of a $5 dono train to try to get to $35,000 raised as soon as we can. That's $35,000 for racial justice.
Thank you so much for that. I think we have a little bit of time because we do have to unfortunately reset. Yeah, the RNG has been nice this entire run, but now he's here to show up and mess it up.
It's okay though. We still got this.
Yeah, I was about to say, we
definitely.
still have this locked in. There is no problems. This is just a minor setback. See, we're already back at the fight. So, Champrul, if you want to read some more donos, I would love to hear those donations.
Absolutely. We've got quite a few from that dono train. We've got a $5 donation from Hey, a Nobody. It says :3. A $5 donation from Anonymous with no comment. Thank you for that donation. A $100 donation from Anonymous with no comment. A $5 donation from Regali. Let's go Shadow. And a $5 donation. Oh,
No, go ahead.
okay,
Go
a
ahead.
$5 donation from Top Secret Fox. Did someone say a $5 dono train? Hype. Also, save the animals. Bombastic side eye at Champ. Okay.
Good. Yeah, you earned that. So anyway, I got excited because Regali is here, and Regali is one of our prize submitters. If you like those anagurumis that we've been showing off during all the prize segments, Regali submitted a bunch of them. Including the shadow one that you can get today. So thank you so much. It's baby's first prizes. So I'm happy when I'm starting to remember some of our people who submit things. It makes me warm and fuzzy inside.
There's so many amazing prizes for this event. Everyone submitted like such cool things.
Yeah. I wish I had the energy. I might try to for our next event because we're going to have more events, y'all. But that doesn't mean we got to slack on this one. We're trying to get to 40K tonight. I want to try and get some more artwork back up and running because I would love to submit a print. All right, so hopefully this gets us where we need to go. Hopefully this is the one shot because we don't want to deal with him and his 1 HP nonsense. Because as we all saw, he's annoying. Actually annoying. No, it's ugly. The work is ugly. And no one likes you. The work is actually ugly and no one likes you. Yeah, get leashed. This should be the last one, provided he acts right.
There we go.
Fantastic.
We did it.
Yeah, so a couple people mentioned this in chat as well, that this has the potential to be a run killer, and y'all can see why, but Linear's got this locked in. She's not scared of none of these bums, because they're bums. You don't care that you have a throwback to the first game. You're a bum. You're weird. Throwing arrows to the face.
Chat, we're less than $50 from $34.5 thousand.
Love to see it. Love to see it. Oh, by the way, we saved Dennis. I don't know if that was relevant to anyone, but yeah, we saved him.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Dennis, to be honest.
For all those Dennis fans out there.
For all those Dennis stands that are out there. But what about Dennis? Oh yeah, he's alive now. And at this point, Dennis is just kind of like not in the scene, but he's around, chilling. So now you're in the heart of the clock tower. And you know that you're in the heart of the clock tower because there's all these cogs and stuff like it's a clock. This got to be some of the worst stuff I've ever seen because the idea of crawling under a moving object gives me hives. Especially considering it's a horror game. So my brain, I can't play horror games because it just auto defaults to everything is the worst case scenario. Everything is the worst case scenario. Because I'm just waiting for a bar to fall, a cog to make me into like tiny Alyssa paste. No.
Yeah, there were like unnecessary spikes on that as well.
Yes. Like it doesn't make sense. Also, this is the actual clock tower that I want to reiterate. Destroyed your house. Just sprout it from the ground and destroyed your house. And you're just walking on it like this is normal. So as you're making your way around here, we are closing in on some of the final beats of the game, which means that we get to confront our corrupt granddad, who, after his touching story saying, "I can't believe you want me to sacrifice my grandchild," you find out he's actually very fine with that. This is very okay with him because the way that it works for them to achieve this higher being, this godhood, if you will, is that you have to sacrifice a rooter on their 15th birthday. And literal sacrifice. Like it can't just be, oh, get some blood. No, you have to actually sacrifice the rooter on their 15th birthday.
Yeah, I think it's something he's very specific. Like you have to remove their heart and drink the blood to get the dark power of the entity.
Yeah, it's some nonsense like that. It's really, really out of control. And so the best part is that you get to go back in time to see how this started with Lord Burroughs, which is the final boss of the run, by the way. And so Lord Burroughs actually kicked this off because he wanted to ascend to godhood. So he was going to sacrifice his 15-year-old daughter. But the reason that he didn't get away with it is because when he went to sacrifice his 15-year-old daughter, she actually died the day before her 15th birthday in a tragic, what was it, a trailer accident? A carriage accident?
Something like that.
Yeah, there was a carriage accident and she died in it. And so he could no longer fulfill the requirements to ascend to godhood. And he got really upset about that and made it everyone else's problem by literally like massacring people, dropping laws for safety, all types of stuff. It's really out of control. And so from there on, they've tried to do this every single year and been unsuccessful. Or not every single year, it's like a certain time interval. The details are irrelevant. There's an old Englishman that wants to kill you for godhoodness. And that's really all there is. So this fight takes a hot minute because, as you can see, he has 2 health bars. And this is a dangerous fight because he has those little pools that you can see on the ground. There was one that spawned a little bit earlier that can kind of ensnare you. But also he has his own things that can snare you the same way your arrows snare them. And that's a bad time. That's an actual bad time. So I'm going to let Linear focus on this nonsense
fight.
fight.
No, that's what
No, God, no.
I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but it did. It's okay.
So as I was just saying, I was going to let Linear focus on this fight and let Champrul have the floor.
Okay.
It's okay. Oh, come on.
I'm not
That's
the only
so
one with the
close.
floor right now.
Whoa. Be nice to the runner. What are we doing?
Linear, you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job. This 14-year-old shouldn't be out here. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. But I do want to say we have crossed over 34,500. We're at $34,653. I also have a $100 donation from Amaranth. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. with the comment, $5 dono train, but I'm buying tickets for a bunch of folks. That dono train is still going strong, everybody. Thank you for that donation. Also a $25 donation from Argaroth, first time dono. Glad to see a game from the Clock Tower series. Good luck, TikTok.
Thank you so much. Let's see where this lands. Just trying to, I'm getting a health check in. You got time for like one more.
All right. I have another $100 donation from Anansi. I assume saving animals includes hedgehogs. I'd say it does. They might not be able to read. Thank you for that donation.
Thank you for acknowledging that animals can't read.
That's
We're about to come up on time, just so y'all know. As soon as I hit this rubble. Hi.
Oh, sensational.
GG.
Great work. Good job, Linear.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
Yeah, and you use what, one sigil stone?
Yes, I did. Oh, that I'm not gonna lie, that kind of made me nervous at the end when Lord Burrows did that, but we made it. We made it.
Yeah. As long as it didn't hit you with the okie dokie, because if they would have allowed him to throw you into the ravine, that would have been nasty work. But yeah, the way that this ends, by the way, you saw the text come up that says, Alyssa, take my power. And it's quite literally her mom speaking to her. And so what they want her to do is grab the last piece of that shamrock necklace that we mentioned before, because putting it all together allows you to apparently kill an old English man from like 3 centuries ago. Clock Tower is a game.
It sure is.
wow.
Clock Tower is a game of all time. That's also why you're dressed up like a Greek goddess randomly.
Also, your mom's fine.
Yeah, she was a statue that was busted on the floor, but everything's fine.
So we think.
Lots of confusing things to this game. Great job, Linear. I hope that she did her homework in all this. I don't know. But Linear, tell us about yourself and just everything about you. We want to know about you.
Great. So if it's okay, while this playing, just give a couple of shout outs. I want to shout out the entire Back to Black crew, GDQ. You all have been so amazing for so much hard work in this event. To my Lady Arcaders, because you all are such an amazing community. Thank the Towels for accepting this run into Frost 2025. So I'll be playing this again in March, and all the support there. The Clock Tower on Twitch for supporting me and having an amazing space for those interested in the horror games, and just everyone who tuned into this event. Thank you so much. You can find me at twitch.tv/LinearC or on Blue Sky at LinearC.
Can I ask you a question real fast?
Sure, go ahead.
What's your PB in this?
I think it's like 129 something.
Oh, dang. I was hoping it was going to be a PB because you decimated your estimate.
Yeah, you did really, really great.
Thank you. I'm still really proud of it though, because I was having like some marathon nerves, but like I'm really proud of it because I really got my time down from what I was getting at initially. So I thank everyone for the support and GGs and all that.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
That's all I'm going to say. Crime, you got to send yourself off, though. You don't get to just be easy like that.
I'm Metroid Crime. You can find me twitch.tv/Metroid Crime. I just want to say thank you so much, Linear, for having me on. This is great. It's been so cool to see your journey. I remember when you first started running this, and like you're just killing it. That was so good, and you should be like so proud.
Thank you so much.
And also, this event's been amazing. I'm so excited for the rest of the night, and I'm gonna be in chat, watching and supporting.
I just have a quick question. Since we finished early and we missed a lot of cutscenes, do we have time to maybe do like at least one of those cutscenes, especially the Dennis one?
I'm getting a yes on that.
this.
Let's get a cutscene.
Continue without saving. All right, so it's just because you all get the like you miss so much, and so we gotta give Dennis some love, just a little bit. Alright, so we're gonna go to the theater.
This is going to be a treat, chat, because these cutscenes are so ridiculous.
And there's
They are
also
so ridiculous.
a motion cap available on YouTube that you definitely want to check out because it's hilarious. Should be this one.
Oh no, you're gonna. Okay. Oh. So this is right after Sledgehammer clearing him and realizing that you just dreamed it all.
Dennis, what are you doing here?
Pull me up! Hurry!
I don't know why I just thought of this, but how did he get up there? Because I don't see a ladder or anything.
I thought I was a goner for sure. Long time no see, Alyssa. I haven't seen you since we were in primary school together. It must be 3 years.
What do you think you're doing entering a lady's residence through a window?
I have to give you something. Here it is.
It's the key to my grandfather's room. Mother always has his key with her. What are you doing with it? You saw her? When and where?
Calm down, calm down. It was yesterday morning and your mother drove by in her car.
What a scene.
And she said you might come back from
It's
boarding
just
school and asked me to hand that
this
to you.
is art.
And it's fine.
She must have gone up to meet me.
This is art.
We just missed each other.
Hey, Alyssa, you've really changed since I last saw you.
I'm going to go and check my grandfather's room.
Hey!
It's also like the quick
Looks like you've
turns
gone
and
up
stuff
too,
for me.
Dennis.
Oh, come on. That was then and this is now. Wait a minute, would you?
So much good animation in here.
There's just a lot happening at once.
Wow.
But yeah, those are the very awesome, extremely polished and professional cutscenes that we all missed out on, unfortunately.
Yeah, I say definitely if definitely look at the clock tower scene. PT had mentioned that, and just Alyssa's expression on her face where she's like flying through the air and stuff like that. It's just hilarious.
It's so messy because it's like your house just got destroyed. Why are you floating on a clock face or a cog, putting on your best Yuna from 10-2 impression? I don't understand.
All right. I don't want to cut into anybody else's time, so I guess that's it from me. Thank you
No
so much
worries.
for having me.
Of course, Linear, thank you for an amazing run. And Crime and PT, thank you for that amazing commentary as well. This has been
Thanks.
a delight to watch. And with that, everybody, we are going to go